on the Make America Great Again front, I'll cite these words from Friday's Wall Street Journal. Wage growth matched the highest rate in nearly a decade, and unemployment held at its lowest rate in nearly half a century at 3.7%. This is the lowest rate since 1969. That's when Mary and I married, 1969, 50 years August. And as Mary says often, and to the same man? So the article notes that wages at senior care facilities are rising, but that revenue is rising robustly for them. A spokesperson commented, "We are offering more training and flexible work schedules and are recruiting older workers who finished careers but aren't ready to retire." The article notes an increased hiring of persons with prior convictions. All these are good things. It's good for America to get more people working. Our workforce participation rate is still too low, but there is talent out there yet. The country is benefited when more talented people are out working, producing something for themselves and their community. So, personally, I'm attempting to chill out a bit, and you can be sure I don't follow the tweets as closely as I used to. Having served in the Department of Justice almost 15 years plus 20 on the Judiciary Committee, I well knew that AGs frequently face difficult choices and decisions, and which almost inevitably creates some controversy. But this very public adventure, I gotta say, exceeded my expectations. I'll tell you. So, I gotta say, I'm proud of President Trump's policy agenda and to have had a part in it. He is driven to succeed, and much of his frustration arises from his inability to move the bureaucracy to achieve what he believes ought to be achieved fast enough. As Kanye West said, he has dragon energy. You know, I think that's a good description of it, really. So I love the Department of Justice, as most of you know, and poured my heart into our work and was pleased to be able to advance the President's policies, which were my policies. And good for America, I believe. Our team has put the department on a sound course in a host of ways. When I took office, we saw crime rising rapidly after 30 years of declining crime rates. The murder rate just a few years ago had fallen to half what it was in 1981 when I became United States Attorney. And murder rate had dropped by half since 1981. That's a dramatic thing. In 1981, people would have not have believed it if you said we're going to cut the murder rate in half. But when I took office in 2017, we were facing ominous trends. Homicides had risen 12% in 2015, another 8% in 16. That was a stunning, unexpected surge. There was great diversion of prescription opioids and a shocking increase in opioid deaths that hit 72,000 overdose deaths. We'd never, ever seen deaths like that before in this country. And I strongly believe that these trends could not continue and that we could make a difference. President Trump sent us executive orders, back the men and women in blue. That's important. And reduce crime in America. That's a pretty good order. Sessions, reduce crime in America. But we embraced these goals. And I declared repeatedly we would not preside over rising crime. But we would reduce violent crime, which had gone up. We would reduce homicides. We would reduce drug diversion. We would reduce overdose deaths. We were determined to reduce these trends. And that's what we've done. 85% of law officers are state and local. Our strategic plan was to support and partner with them. We publicly and consistently supported local law enforcement and emphasized the vital importance and the morality and decency of the work they do. Look, police are not the problem. Criminals are the problem. Police are the solution to the problem. They are your people. They're hired in every city all over America. They're who we call on to put their lives at risk for us. And we need to honor them. So we increased federal prosecutors and agents, but not in main justice, but out in the field. We chose great U.S. attorneys like Louis Franklin, here an experienced, exceptional prosecutor. Richard Moore in Mobile, J-Town in Birmingham, 94 all over the country, fabulously motivated, excited, driven people. Richard and Louis both serve on my 15-person Attorney General's Advisory Committee, and Richard chairs the committee. So we squeezed the budget, added more federal agents, FBI, DEA, ATF, United States Marshals, and we got a great marshal here in Jesse Soroya, if you know Jesse. So we created more federal, state, and local task forces that focused on attacking the most severe local crime problems. And the results came quickly, actually quicker than I expected. Homicides stopped rising and fell in 2017. And the New York Times just reported last week that there will be an even larger decline in homicides this year. Violent crime overall decline again, and it will fall noticeably this year. We saw a 12% drop in opioid prescriptions. So much of those opioids were abused and sold on the street, and too often we had doctors that were actually corruptly and illegally moving money, pills at great profit. And we've convicted, sadly, over 200 doctors, or charged them in the last year, in 2 years. Overdose deaths are finally beginning to top out and start to go down a little bit. But fentanyl is such a powerful and dangerous drug that if it were to expand dramatically in the United States, I think it'd be hard to see anything other than that the death rate would go up. The Department of Justice is focusing aggressively on fentanyl. And the Congress and the President have put together a $6 billion bill that includes treatment, prevention, as well as support for law enforcement. But most of it will go to Health and Human Services for treatment and that kind of thing. And in a host of other areas, we have been affirming the most important foundation principles of our republic, and that's the rule of law. First, and of monumental importance, the President continues to nominate the best group of highly qualified federal judges ever, in my opinion. These judges understand that they adjudicate under the Constitution. They're not above it, and they know they are to be neutral umpires, as Chief Justice Roberts testified at his hearing. Neutral umpires, not taking sides in the ball game. So we have followed sound legal principles, and we've talked about that a lot. There were 4 pending cases on which we believe the former Justice Department had taken the wrong side. So we switched sides. Some were uneasy about it, but we were convinced it was the right thing to do. And we've won all 4 of those cases in the Supreme Court of the United States. We have defended religious liberty and issued guidelines on all federal agencies, how they should honor and protect the constitutional protection of the free exercise of religion. We defended free speech on campus. Goodness gracious, it's hard to believe the attacks on speech on campuses. We have respected the great principles of federalism. We have eliminated many improper and unnecessary regulations, issued sound legal guidance to government agencies to prevent abuses in the future. We have made clear by my directive that consent decrees are to be undertaken only without a clear justification. When a lawsuit is filed and a federal judge enters into a consent decree and issues an order, it's really at its fundamental nature anti-democratic act, because it takes that entity, that governmental agency, out of the management of local officials and puts it into a judge, really, who's lifetime appointed and not accountable to the public. The Supreme Court has made clear you should be careful about those things. It got to be too common, in my opinion.